if there is a God side and the other side, if there are moral things and things that are immoral, if there is this side or that side, it can't be left up to thought process. I'm an enforcer on this side.
City, I felt like more, and I could be wrong, I don't know your guys' relationship. It felt like you guys had like a relationship before and then something bitter in between it. What's the real story between you guys?
If there is a God side and the other side, if there are moral things and things that are immoral, if there is this side or that side, it can't be left up to thought process. I'm an enforcer on this side. Pat Williams has shattered the polished mirror of Hollywood's clean-cut elite. And this time, the man in the crosshairs is none other than Steve Harvey. In a blistering interview that's already echoing through every corner of the industry, Williams didn't mince words. He painted Harvey as a willing puppet, a perfectly groomed placeholder for the shadowy titans of entertainment. According to Katt, Harvey isn't running the show. He's being run. And when the strings get pulled, Steve dances. That famous mustache just part of the costume. That billion-watt smile, a mask stretched tight over loyalty to unseen hands. Authenticity. I felt like more. And I could be wrong. I don't know your guys' relationship. It felt like you guys had like a relationship before and then something bitter in between it. What's the real story between you guys? What started as a conversation about comedy morphed quickly into a full-scale takedown. Williams came in swinging, accusing Harvey of betraying not just his fellow comedians, but the very culture he claims to represent. This the same Steve Katzkoff that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. The accusation wasn't just about plagiarism. It was about Eraser, about power games, about how a man like Harvey, with the backing of Hollywood's gatekeepers, could take an idea and bury its origin story 6 feet deep under a fake smile and a flashy suit. But the real venom came when Katt said it wasn't just about Steve's hustle. It was about Steve's soul and whether he even had one left to sell. We've heard whispers before, grumblings about deals and compromises made behind closed doors. But this time, the curtains ripped wide open. Williams claimed he was approached with the same offer Harvey allegedly took. He said it was a moment of choice. Step into the inner circle or step away and keep his integrity. He chose the latter. Harvey, he says, chose comfort, power, security, the seat at the table, paid for perhaps in silence. I'm not for sale, Williams declared. The implication was crystal clear. Steve Harvey is I'm one of the chosen high-ranked noted dirt individuals, right? And so dirt responds as they should when the vacuum walks in. Maycham, and you come on, you did you, are you a rapper, you rapper or something, which raises a question too big to ignore. How did Steve Harvey go from floundering talk show host to one of the most omnipresent faces in media, sitting on an empire estimated at over $140 million? Could talent and timing really be all it took? Or is there a deeper game afoot? One where access is currency and obedience is rewarded. For years, rumors have swirled about the so-called Illuminati wing of the entertainment machine, a shadow network of dealmakers who trade influence like poker chips. Williams didn't say the name, but he didn't have to. The suggestion lingered, heavy and unspoken. Maybe Steve Harvey's success didn't just come from stage presence. It came from compliance. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates him and nobody likes him. And if Harvey's rise wasn't entirely clean, what about the woman beside him? Because the deeper you dig into Marjorie Harvey's past, the darker it gets. Before the designer handbags and Instagram filters, Marjorie was married to not one but two convicted kingpins of underground networks. First, Jim L. Townsend, who was sentenced to life after trying to move 40 kilos of powdery Conrad. Yes, 40. And then, in a twist worthy of its own series, she married Donnell Woods, another alleged player in the same world of High Street commerce. That's not a tabloid headline. It's a matter of public record. 'Cause P. Diddy be wanting to buy it. And you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. When Townsend eventually published a memoir after being granted a presidential pardon, he didn't exactly clear her name. Quite the opposite. He claimed the FBI had enough dirt on Marjorie to lock her away, but he struck a deal to protect her. So, did she really dodge prosecution by proximity? And if so, how much of her current life is built on favors that haven't yet come due? The questions don't stop there. Because people inside the industry are starting to talk quietly, cautiously, off the record. Some say Marjorie didn't just benefit from these connections, she leveraged them. That she played chess with her relationships, moving through power circles with a strategist's eye and a survivor's instinct. A former music publicist who worked with top-tier talent in the early 2000s claims Marjorie was always around, always in the room. Even before Steve became a household name, she wasn't some wife in the background. They said she was the one making the calls. That version of the story paints her not as a tag-along, but as the queen pin of Harvey Incorporated, the real executive producer of his brand. What's the best advice they've given you? Just remember that you're the prize at all times. Boom. Best advice. Which brings us to the image. That meticulously curated picture-perfect family unit. The blended kids, the matching outfits, the grandchildren's birthday parties broadcast like episodes of a sitcom. It all starts to feel too perfect, too pristine. Especially when you consider how many public stumbles Steve's faced over the years. There was the Miss Universe debacle, the awkward embrace of certain political figures, the tone-deaf jokes that sparked backlash. Yet somehow every scandal seems to slide right off him as if he's got an invisible PR force field. Or maybe it's something more strategic. Maybe the polish is intentional. Maybe it's armor. Now contrast that with Katt Williams, the raw unfiltered disruptor who's never been afraid to burn bridges if it means telling the truth. He's been arrested. He's been blackballed. He's been mocked and dismissed. But he's never backed down. And in this interview, he's not just swinging at Steve Harvey. He's putting the whole machine on trial. When he declined to join the revamped Kings of Comedy after Bernie Mac passed, he made it clear why. He wasn't about to stand next to the man he believes undercut Bernie behind the scenes. You think I'ma let you disrespect Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king you. He said the sting behind that line isn't just personal, it's philosophical. Katt saw the game and he walked away from the prize. This is my job. I'm supposed to come in and restore order because that's my position. The fact that it's ignored by the clowns because they all in the same frat comedically, like that's all well and good. I don't care nothing about none of that. But and now even those close to Bernie are weighing in. Bernie's daughter Janice McCullough didn't hold back. She praised Katt's honesty, saying his words felt genuine, a rare thing in a business built on flattery and facade. There are some people who have given my dad his flowers now that he's gone that I'm looking at like now you know doggone well you wasn't doing that when he was alive. That wasn't shade. It was a spotlight and it turned squarely onto Steve Harvey whose public grief after Bernie's passing may not have matched his private behavior while the late legend was still here. Then came Ed Lover, a name from radio royalty. He confirmed what Williams had alleged that Bernie himself once said Steve tried to block his role in Ocean's 11. That wasn't just ego. That was sabotage. Quiet, deliberate, and calculated. The kind of move you don't forget. Katt the entertainer didn't exactly clear the air either. When asked about the tension during the original Kings of Comedy tour, he chalked it up to alpha male energy. But that's not an answer. It's a DOD because beneath all that stage chemistry was a storm nobody dared acknowledge at the time. And Katt Williams was that guy in 2005 to 2008. Right in there. Katt, we were looking at Katt like, wow. Williams says the alliance between Steve Cedric and Ricky Smiley isn't a coincidence. It's a coordinated front. 3 men protecting their turf, their image, and maybe each other's secrets. Katt's claims that Ricky kept showing up at his auditions like a shadow with a clipboard suddenly don't seem so far-fetched. If you believe what Williams is saying, then for decades, there's been a whole side of the comedy industry most of us never saw, where roles are passed like hush money and careers are molded in the shadows. And what about that joke Cedric allegedly stole from Katt? Not just a throwaway punchline, something Katt says he performed live on television before Cedric took it to the stage of the Kings of Comedy. That clip's not hard to find. Neither is Cedric's version. And when you line them up side by side, well, let's just say it gets harder to write off as coincidence. But Katt's bigger point wasn't about jokes. It was about truth. He mocked Cedric's title, The Entertainer, saying he can't sing, can't dance, and barely writes his own material. He even questioned why Cedric's specials are nowhere to be found on major streaming platforms. Meanwhile, Katt's catalog is vast and very visible, 12 specials deep. That's not a resume. That's a resume and a receipt. Then I'm not even allowed to be worried. What would I be worried about? It's those that traffic in falsehoods that got to worry about me 'cause I'll say something. So, here we are standing at the intersection of fame and fabrication. Steve Harvey, the brand, the empire, the family man with the morning show smile. And Katt Williams, the rebel in a velvet jacket, torch in one hand, mirror in the other. One says everything's fine. The other says everything's fake. And suddenly,